What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Daniel, all the greats. Plus, you get access to this nice little prop shopping tool as soon as I put it up, where you can see exactly what we project for each individual prop, plus where the best odds are at. And most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord. Just go to Scores and Odds .com/Discord. Get on in. Just threw that in the chat there. We got football. We got some baseball. I'm kind of done with baseball for right now. Football just takes up too much time, and there's not enough games. But we got plenty of football bets. We'll just go ahead and get right in. We got Chase Claypool under 3.5 receptions, sitting at -105 over at DK, and George Pickens under 4.5 receptions, sitting at -149 over at Bet Rivers. It's looking like Deontay Johnson and Freiermuth should both end up playing in this spot. The reason why these lines are so high is because they threw the ball 55 times last week. It's not going to happen again. Bills got 380 passing yards in the first half, just long bomb after long bomb. They didn't run a ton of plays. Pittsburgh ran 54 pass attempts and didn't score a single touchdown. They only scored, I think, one field goal the entire game, meaning they were driving downfield and then just not converting. And they just had the ball ton because Josh Allen just massive pass after massive pass after massive pass. Got a question in chat. Amari Cooper, A.J. Brown, Gabe Davis, Jacoby Meyer. Who gets the goose egg? 1 TDs, 2 TDs. Go with AJ Brown. Who am I not playing? I'm probably not playing either Gabe Davis or Amari Cooper. But I mean, you play AJ Brown and the rest of them. Coin flip 2 out of 3 of them. I don't know. But yeah. So looking at the target market share, Deontay, Freiermuth are going to be the two guys that end up with far more receptions, far more targets. Looking at Gridiron IQ, and I know that Deontay and Freiermuth both went out, but Pickens had a 17% target share. Claypool had 16%. Probably going to go down considering a lot of that time was garbage time, but also Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth were not in the game, so I'm taking the under on both those guys. If you want, you can wait until Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth are ruled in. I think they practiced limited yesterday. I think they are good to go today. Barkley over 3.5 receptions. I had this -154 over at Caesars, -150 over at 449 over at DK, just because they wouldn't let me get more money down. Barkley should see an increase in passing volume this week. Looking at his game log, he hit 2 out of the 4 games so far, or 5 games so far this season. This is not the spot where he's going to have trouble. Going up against Baltimore, should be getting a lot of dump offs. Going up against a high scoring offense, will likely have the lead for the majority of the game. The game script for New York pretty much this entire season has not been what we expected because they just keep winning every single week. Outside Chicago, we expected that. Yeah, they're not as good as they have been. Do I hope they keep winning? Kind of, yeah. But as of right now, I think this is just a spot where Barkley should see an increase in pass volume. So I'm taking the over on his receptions. Eno Benjamin under 4.5 receptions. Yes, he's a pretty solid receiving back. Yes, James Conner is not going to play this week, but still 3.5 is just a little bit too high of a line, especially with semi-low juice. I have him projected for around 2.5. So this is just a solid overall bet here. Tyler Lockett over 5.5 receptions. Tyler Lockett has been seeing massive volume every single week. Took this last week. Didn't hit because Geno Smith got out to a massive early lead, and then they just kind of ran the ball a lot. Geno Smith only had like 25 passing attempts because they got out to a good early lead, and this is not going to be the same spot here. Geno Smith is probably going to be throwing the ball a ton in this spot. Going up against the Cardinals going to be a massive increase in play volume. Last 2-3 weeks, Seattle's put up massive numbers in close games. This game, I'm not going to be surprised if they're down a bit. Would be more surprised if they're up a bit. They have the worst defense in the league, going up against a decent offense in Arizona. I know they have not done great so far this season, but they are playing at a big pace and going up against the worst defense in the league, Seattle. Should give them a decent amount of points. So Geno's going to be throwing the ball Having Kenneth Walker in there probably lead to more passing plays. I know Walker's not much of a downgrade over Penny, but he is better in the receiving game. So lock it over 5.5 receptions, plus 130 over at bet 365. Cooper Kupp over 7.5 receptions, minus 130 over at bet 365. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp, and he's getting just massive amounts of volume each and every single week. 10 receptions a game so far this season, or 9.8 receptions a game so far this season, sitting around 13 targets a game. So getting this line at 7.5. He is the biggest piece of this offense. He is this offense. He's just getting huge amount of volume. Struggle against Arizona. That's kind of it. Dallas, he missed this line by the hook, but every other game so far this season has had 10 plus receptions, getting this at 7.5. Even though he's going up against Carolina, not the easiest matchup in the world for receiver, it does not matter for him. And while I worry about the game script in this spot here, I really don't care. I love the over in this spot. Daniel Jones over 18.5 completions, over 28.5 passing attempts, minus 120 for the completions, minus 105 for the attempts over at Betway. Daniel Jones has only hit these numbers. I think he's hit the completions several times. Has not hit the passing attempts in the last two, but came close in the last one just because they ran the ball pretty much the entire end of the fourth quarter. He hurt his hand. He was bleeding the entire time. So I'm taking the over in both these. Again, a spot going up against Baltimore. Baltimore, very good team, should end up having the lead. 5.5 point favorite in this spot here. I'm rolling with the over. Joe Burrow over 33.5 passing attempts going up against the Saints. He's hit this in 4 out of 5 games so far this season. Granted, he hasn't had the best game script so far this season or he's had a good game script for passing the majority of the season outside of against Jets and against Miami. But still, hit the over in 4 out of 5, averaging close to 4 or 38 attempts a game. This is just too low of a line here. Marcus Mariota. This is the ugliest bet I have this weekend. Look at Mariota's game log. He's at the over in 2 of these games. I took 208 because it was plus 130 over at Caesars. You can hit 200.5 at minus 110, I think, over bet 365 and over at DK. Tough matchups going up against Tampa Bay. Cleveland was just a weird game where he played absolutely terrible. Seattle obviously was a good matchup. This week gets a matchup against, who was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. San Francisco, not a great matchup, but likely going to have to throw the ball a lot. San Francisco's a tough defense, but such a low number. I'm hitting, and we're getting plus 130 odds. I'm taking the over. Geno Smith, been hitting this a lot recently. Hit this 3 weeks in a row. And guess what? It's hit the last 3 weeks. Not going to stop now. Again, going up against a fast-paced team in the Cardinals. This is going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Cardinals should win this one, should be ahead a decent amount, should cause Geno Smith to pass the ball quite a bit. It's that simple. I'm stuck in a hotel right now. I'm coming back from Vegas. So sorry about the vacuum in the background. Let's go ahead and look at Parlay IQ. Let's see if they have anything that I bet popping. Check out Seattle game. I think I really like the overs. Let's see if likes the Seattle money line. So let's go ahead and throw that in there. And they don't have props out for this yet because props just came out earlier today. Let's see if they have for the Cincinnati game. No. Looks like they're still running the simulations, and a lot of the props have not come out yet. So here we go. Nothing really popping here. Let's check New England and Cleveland. Nothing really. There we go. Chubb touchdown, 1% EV, 3.5. Yeah, not really anything massive here. Check out Green Bay and the Jets. The time of the season where there's more and more injuries, touchdowns. No, nothing's really popping. So that's it. That's the show. We've been crushing so far. Basketball finally starts up next week. We absolutely crushed basketball. We've cleared 15K in just 2.5 months of basketball this year. MLB ended up 7.3K. NHL crushed 5.6K. NFL just a few weeks in, had a rough week last week, but still up 3.5 Gs, 55% win rate. So yeah, things are going pretty well in player props. Up since April, 31.5 Gs. on this show. So if you've been watching the show, telling my bets exactly, you've cleared 31.5 grand. So that's it. That's the show. We'll be back again Monday. And it gets to the fun part of the year where we got a whole bunch of basketball and football, and my life's a nightmare. But we're going to make a bunch of money. We're out of here.